So I did a lot of research on this firearm right here, the way I wanted to build it. I got this to be a winter carry gun, and that's why I have the Langdon Tactical Striker control device on here. Like I always say in my videos, if you don't know what that is, look it the fuck up, okay? Maybe one of these days, I'll spoon feed you motherfuckers that don't know how to use Google. Oh, excuse me, sound check. So, maybe I should just go down the list what all I got in here, and then I'll go into why I got what I got. So right now I do have on here the +2, but it's really like +1. And I like this because since I don't, on my bedside gun, rack the gun, to be able to rack it when you just jam in that last round in there, it's harder to rack. So this, I think, is really more of a +1, because, but I can rack it by putting 14 rounds in here instead of the 13 rounds. Since 40 cals are, of course, bigger than 9mm. So with this, because I don't have one chambered, I've got 14 fucking rounds. But I can rack it really fucking easy because I have the Guardian +6 on there with an EPS, not the carry, but the full size, right there. The full size. It has the solar panel on it. Hey, it's not zooming. Zoom, right there. I did swap out the front sight to a Dawson Precision. It's made out of steel. I guess I gotta be careful not to get bogged down on everything that I did, why I did it, but I did use capillars to measure the height before I went to Dawson of what the Radian's front sight that goes with the Guardian +6 is. So that's one thing that's cool about Dawson Precision. You can get things exactly the size you want. So that's what I got on there. I think it would look better on previous generation Glocks that are more blocks, because the Gen 5 gets that beveled front end right there, so you get it in your holster faster. Of course, there's no reason to get a gun into a holster faster unless I guess you're out there practicing and stuff and reloading, and then that's when this thing's really good to have. Right there, practicing dry firing. Or I'm practicing at the range, just not dry firing. Also, you know, practicing. Reholstering, yes, it's going to be easier for a Gen 5 because to get into the little holster, kind of like a magwell type thing, right? You know, it makes your holster more of a magwell when it's a tapered tip right there. Another thing that I have on here is I do have a DPM triple recoil spring. Let's see if I can go ahead and right there, pull the trigger, pull these levers down. I guess pull the trigger again. See, I got the DPM triple recoil spring on here, which this is the standard version, which it's for like the 357 SIG or the 9mm or the 40 cal. But I have DPM springs in half my Glocks, and on most of my Glocks I like the soft one better if I'm firing not +P but like 124 grain of 9mm and stuff. I think the soft is better for me. I've tried all different ones, but since I went to a softer one on my 9mm, I had a couple extra of these sitting around, so I've got one. It is stronger, and to me, since it's a recoil spring, it seems about as easy to rack as the Glock stock one that came in here. But it is smoother with the triple recoil spring by DPM right there, which is, they're very nice. You can look that up yourself too. I'm not going to get into what everything freaking is, but with the 40 cal, I don't want the soft one. I want the strong one. So the trigger's back again. Put the magazine back in there because it looks so good. It is just a standard Glock stock trigger system in here with, I do believe, the dot connector, which on Gen 5s I prefer the dot connector. Gen 4s I probably prefer the dot connector, but it's minus connector is kind of nice too. On Gen 3s, minus connector. Go minus connector, minus connector. But I do have the shoe on there. It is from Gunco. I don't think it is on my original video. This is just as an unboxing showing it right out of the box. So I do love the Gunco, the gun company trigger shoes, which is a lot of people that use those trigger shoes and they just put their own label on them, like Tactical Pontoon, or there's a lot of companies out there that they've got the gun company trigger shoe on there, but it won't say the gun company. So I do have that. I like that flat face. It just feels good. I like it. And I use the proper Loctite. I have different bottles of Loctite. I use the one that's the right for the little screws that are in here. So, and I'll check that it's not walking out. It's true with the Glock stock standard one. You don't have to worry about the rolling pins ever walking out because it's not made for you to screw the pin in and out. And when you do change it, they could walk out if you don't have them Loctited in there well or properly. What else do I have on here? Everything in here is pretty stock. I did have a Streamlight on here, but I just recently got the Olight, and this is, I don't know which Olight it is. Right there. Boulder SBL. It's a little bit longer than the Mini, but it still doesn't quite stick out past the barrel of the gun, but it sticks out pretty close, I guess. It's 800 lumens. Instead of, with that bright light right now, you can't see. From on the walls, I can see the blue laser, because this one has a blue laser on it. But let's change it just to laser. Laser on Spidey. Why I have the blue laser? Well, because I have other Olights. I have green Olights, red Olights, and I'm going to get a blue one. So why would you get blue instead of green or reds? Because with the blue laser, you could have an optic, because you don't want your laser to be the same color as your optic is. And on this one here, I happen to have the green one. There it is, the green. Green. This is the one you can also have the circle dot on it, because it is the MRS. You can see with the solar panel right there. It's the full size, not the carry. But I can see it with the blue, no matter what I have. So it used to be, I would always make sure that I had green laser with the red dot and vice versa. The only time I ever have lasers is on bedside Glocks. That's it. Most of my guns, I mean, if it's easy to get the laser on there, anyways, I have it on there, but, you know, it's mostly to have just the light on there. I don't carry with a light, ever. I never carry with a light. I do have a light inside my car. But, yeah, I want blue laser, and so people say, what's the difference, pros and cons? Red lasers are normally the cheapest ones to get, and green ones can be seen further with daylight, but still with daylight they can't be seen that well. Anyways, you're going to be using a laser at nighttime, mostly. And at nighttime, the lasers all shoot real fucking far, no matter what the hell color it is. The blue one uses less energy than the other two, so that's the thing. If you're trying to conserve batteries, which with just a laser on, and especially with an OLED that you can recharge easily with, is this the one? Yep, it is. So I like, you don't ever have to break your zero. With an OLED, you can just charge it like that on there. Keep her charged up. Is that about it? What else I did on this? I don't fucking know. So, I mean, why would you have, I have a large back strap on here. When I go with back straps, the way now I just reminded myself of something else I have on there. When I go with back straps, it's the large one. The way I base the back strap is what kind of trigger I have on there, where I can reach to it. But I also base it on here is when it locks back, and I've got my regular standard grip on here, that I don't have to alter my grip to drop the magazine. And on some of my Glocks, I go to medium back strap so I don't have to alter my grip to drop my magazine. Or maybe some of the triggers they set further forward, and yeah. So it's all based on where the trigger distance is on there. But when I do have the large one on there, it's easier to get the two hands on there. It's really easy to get the two hands on there. God, my hand just swallows this gun up. So yeah, I got the large back strap on here. And I don't like the beaver tails just because I don't need to make the gun any bigger than I need to. I've got it on guns that I don't carry, I guess. But you can't really get those anymore. But with this Blue Label one, I'm not sure if it came with 4 back straps or when they changed over to 2. I think maybe it only had the 2 back straps. When I bought the Glock 22, I got all 4 back straps because it was actually a used Glock 22. And the Gen 4s they did originally, they came with 4 back straps. So, you can't really buy these from Glock anymore. You can't, because Lenny McGill went and bought them all fucking up. So if you want to get back straps, the 4-piece kit, you have to go to the Glock store pretty much. And he's not really charging that much more for them, thankfully, at least. And you can get them until they're all fucking gone, because Glock ain't gonna make them anymore. Because I'm even actually talking to the Glock factory, told me a while back, get them when you can. We're not making them anymore. We're just making them with beaver tails only. Which I think is kind of stupid, because if you maybe, unless you have a smaller hand and you don't use any backstrap at all, the beaver tail, let's say you want a bigger backstrap, but you don't want the beaver tail. Anyways, this is the last thing that's on here. I don't think you should ever put a magwell on a Glock Gen 5 because it already has a built-in magwell. And especially if it's a carry gun, you're not trying to make your gun gigantic or anything. You can see it's a pretty damn good well inside there. Built-in Gen 5s. That's what makes the Gen 5 Glock the best. Unless you're left-handed, and then it's got the ambidextrous on it. But the magwell, right there. So, even with the Gen 4s and the whatever, I would go with the speed feed, slug plug, thug plug, whatever you call it, over a magwell. Anyways, so what's best about this is the C&H, which is also what Ben Steger sells on his own website. So you can get it for almost the same price, but he only has the Glock 17 ones right now. In most places I don't have the Glock 17. If you actually go to C&H Precision, they do have in stock right now. You can't always find them. The ones for the Glock 19 or 23, which is the one I have in here. They say Gen 5 on them, but you can put them in the Gen 4s. They will work also. You can get it in brass. You can get it in polymer, which is light, where it's going to act with that smooth speed feed ramp to get the magazine in there quick. You can see how smooth that is. Normally that's where the magazine would get hung up on there, is the little divider, the little baffle that's in there between the magazine and the backstrap. With the speed feed, which is what Ben Steger uses, and I guess a lot of competitive shooters, they don't fuck the magwell. Get a speed feed. The thug plugs were not allowed in lots of competition because they actually stuck out further, and I don't think they even make the slug plug anymore, but they would be bulbous sticking out right there. This one's actually smooth, scalloped in like that. So the magazine is going to go in there pretty fucking easy. Also, it's made out of brass. You can get it brass or black anodized brass. It's heavy. So I think this one is like 1.8 ounces on this size. And then this one, which I'm going to take to my dad's house, which is, oh, well, you can see that on there. Come on. Yeah. Right there. That's for the 17. This one's like 2.8 ounces, and it's really long. Go check them out on their website. C&H, I've also buy plates from them because the Glock plates suck. I love Glocks, but the plates suck. So get the C&H ones or whoever you want to get. Is that about everything? That's like, man, I never was like, I'm anal retentive. I don't want to part with my video that I'm making right here. So, anyways, right there, shoot the floor. Guess that's it. Y'all have a great day. Let's hold it in there, nice and slow. Don't be looking at my serial number, ATF. Just scary. I don't worry about that fucking shit. Right there. That's beauty. I should make that my screenshot. Right there. So yeah, 40 cal that I already mentioned on here. The 40 cals became, you could get these police trade-ins pretty cheap. They've discontinued this. Cops are going to 9mm that accommodate everybody, including little fucking wimps and dainty little women. Nothing against the little dainty women. I married one. But that's why they got rid of the 40 cal. But I'm going to tell you, with the 40 cals, from the Glock ones, like the Glock 22 and this, they fire pretty fucking smooth anyways. If you can't handle that, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. And I'm saying that, and I've got ported and comped guns out there for 9mm to make them smooth like this, because I have like 12 Glocks now. But that's going to help with your recoil by putting weight in here and balancing it out. The heavier recoil spring is going to help inside there. And because it's the Gen 5, which has a big fucking fat fucking hand slide, it's going to be harder to get a holster for. But there are companies that have them out there, and I don't have a holster for this one yet. Because that slide is so fucking big on a Glock 22, Glock 23 of the Gen 5s. That's why a lot of the old thugs complain about it. I'm going to show you just like a comparison. Because the Glock 22 and Glock 23 Gen 4s and earlier, it's the same size slide. The only thing difference is the barrel. I guess I got to show that this one is also nothing in there. There, shoot the floor. The Gen 4s and previous, it's the same size slide, but in the Gen 5 they made a big fat fucking slide which most people you're going to read say it helps with the recoil, having a heavy ass slide on there. And I got that heavy, I got the thug plug in there, and the speed feed, and the optic on there, the light, everything helps. Everything helps. But you can see right there how much fatter on it. If this right here was a Gen 4, it would be the same exact dimensions as that 9mm one right there. Whereas you can see how much fatter and bigger it got, which helps with recoil. Add the DPM, add the speed feed, even better. Less recoil. I think a little Danny women should be able to handle. They should put those back in the police force. Y'all have a great day, evening, or whatever time it is in your neck of the woods.